Welcome to the Plate Tectonics pre-lab video by Mrs. Gebhardt, Mrs. Teetsort, and Mr. Mahoney.
Hey guys, this is the pre-lab video for the Plate Tectonics Convection Currents Lab. The objective for our lab is going to be to create a model of convection currents illustrating the forces driving the plates. And as you can see, you can kind of see what we're going to be using. Our materials are going to be some hot water, which is nice hot. We've got this nice little plastic cake pan. We've got these 3 styrofoam cups, and then we also have an additional cup that we've cut so we can put the water in that. We do have a little bit of very concentrated dye, and we also have a napkin.
So let's go ahead and get started with trial A of our lab. As you'll see, Mrs. Gebhardt is pouring hot water into the cup about 2/3 full. Mr. Mahoney is placing the water underneath, and I am taking the dye, making sure there is no excess. So what has happened is we've let this hot water heat up some of the regular water that was already in the container. Now, after I just touched that, I'm going to let it settle a little bit. I'm going to take the dye already ready, place the dye inside, right in the middle, and let it out.
Now you can see there's a little bit of jiggling, and so we've got a little bit of the dye that's spreading out. But ideally what we want to do is kind of, if you take a look down from the side, we'll adjust the camera angle, and you can see that it's already starting to move in a very specific direction.
So we can see it moving up, you can see it moving out, and then eventually it should move down.
Take a moment and write down your observations. You'll see that beneath trial A on your paper.
Now we've adjusted to give you another angle. From the above, you can see that the dye is spreading out along the surface in all directions, and coming down from the side again, you can see that it is spreading out along the surface, not all over the place. So it's rising up above the heat, spreading out all along, and soon you'll begin to see that starting to fall as it goes down along the edges of the tub.
And just remember what this is representing in the earth.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and move to trial B. Yet again, it's the same procedures. Mrs. Gebhardt is pouring hot water into the cup about 2/3 full. Mr. Mahoney is carefully sliding the cup underneath, letting the heat rise. So we'll let that settle for a moment. All right, so we've let the water settle for a moment. The heat is there, and if you can look at our camera angle, you can see the steam is already in place. So what we're going to do now is take the dye already ready. In this trial, I am dropping the dye in towards the bottom and off to the side. Take a moment to view what is taking place. We got some different camera angles going on so you can see what's taking place. But just keep your eyes on the direction of the dye, remembering where the heat is located in this experiment.
Now the dye was placed right about there at the bottom of the tub, and so you can kind of get an idea of what the dye is doing now. We'll adjust our angle a little bit, go down from the side again, so that you can see as it's getting towards the center again of the tub what is occurring there.
Which from this camera angle looks really cool.
You can really see it.
You can.
You should definitely be able to see what's going on, folks. Alright, so we are on to trial C. We've already placed the hot water there. It's settled and it's ready to go. With trial C, the directions is to tell us to have 2 eyedroppers of dye. This time, Ms. Gephardt is going to place one in the center by the hot water, and I'm placing one on the outside. So she's kind of representing trial A. I'm representing trial B. Get way down deep before we get any of the dye out, and we are letting the dye out. Take a moment. Watch what takes place before you write down your observations. Also, too, kind of moving the camera a little so you can kind of see above and what's taking place at that angle.
Isn't science fun?
You can really see it. You can see the rising. If we get the camera angle down, we can definitely see it's rising up, just like it's done before, but it's going out and then it's sinking back down. So remember what this represents. We have to imagine the Earth's crust is sitting up here, and this is going to cause that movement.
Now, notice over here where Mrs. Teetsor put the dye, there's not very much dye left there. So consider why that might be.
And look at where it moved to.
This concludes our lab for today. Make sure that you are using your paper, answering your analysis questions at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, and you stay classy, science.